So, cheers. This will be the Keys of David podcast. In this first episode, I'd just like to tell you, how this came about, and to tell you that I'm just going to count to you 1 to 10. That's it, really, over the next several episodes, and tell you something, tell you the story, the code of creation, so that when you look at the news stories and the attempts to bring you into a state, the negative state of mourning, because your true and proper state is joy and peace, thanksgiving for life from your Creator, through whom, without that sacrifice, right, salvation would not be possible. Therefore, on my journey out of the world, I asked, "Are you real?" I asked that to this, basically, I'm this guy standing outside, with his arms up at the sky, saying, "Hey, God, if you're real, you show me." So then, that evening when I was given the revelation, through Jesus Christ, I was brought into life. When you feel, life is when I tell you something and you can go outside and you can test it. You can hold it in your hand and you can test it. And I'm irrelevant to the truth, because the truth of the matter is that the truth does not depend on any of us at all, period, to see it, to still be true. It is true regardless as of, of us even noticing it. I just stuttered there, and I'd like to, being that we're introducing each other, and each one of these episodes is unedited, by the way. The stutter, and I saw a note. I'm not sure if I brought this up already or not, but kind of going into these podcasts, there's a user on Twitter, AYZ. I really need to know your name. I don't really like to use handles. However, he said weeks ago, because we came into contact, and think electrically, came into contact with each other through a post that the John LeBon company put up. And I responded to him to explain the numbers. And then that led into explaining the significance and relevance of the 33 idea, the idea of the 33 or reflected CC. C with your eye, right? And also on the C, the plane of existence that has deviations, called depth and elevation. So then he said, after a few days, you should do a podcast. And I, just so you know, I had done a podcast years ago. This would have been back in 2009. And it would have been, but it dealt with bud reviews, cannabis reviews. Love, those were some great years. I tell you what, not one negative comment, not one. On that or my first YouTube channel, which was in 2009. Back then, you used to be able to automatically put a response to somebody else's video. And what that led to was just these evenings where you could start with, okay, a cherry cough, well, strawberry cough review. And then you move down to a sour diesel review. And a guy says, "Hey, dude, I went to the same place and I got this." You check out his review. It was a quite an environment to be in. The thing is, YouTube being YouTube broke all that up and made it harder to do that. It became basically, oh, that's all too tight knit. You need individual channels, bing bang boom, and everybody fighting over subs and whatnot, ridiculous stuff. So then here we are. People are putting out noises in the form of sentences And those sentences need to make sense. So when they come into your sense, you're 5, and they're reflected 5, 10, the IO, right? Does it or is its foundation solid? Where did you hear that from? Is their foundation solid? Where is their foundation? Has it been identified? Do they proclaim it? Okay, where are you getting your information from? My Lord Jesus Christ has put it into his mind, therefore it's in my mind because I possess the mind of Christ. That is the comforter given to me. That is the promise made. Therefore, everything then that I reflect must please my God. Because if I shame my God, that is a shame on me. And that will not stand. Okay? So then if you leave the world, so if something is told to you that's new and it shocks you and it makes you mad, just understand this, that the truth is the truth regardless of you understanding it, believing it, or even recognizing it. I told you that earlier. So therefore, just recall this. Take the time to at least remember where you first saw the seed dropped in front of you that you chose to dismiss, so you can always go back and pick it up, because there's no expiration date on the truth. All right, you can always pick it up. You can always then plant it into your mind and let it then grow and blossom into something beautiful. All right. So then if I just threw out a few things, war is a hoax. It's controlled demolition and strategic relocation, no matter what your grandpappy said to you. Don't get mad at me. That's the truth of the matter. Space is a hoax as far as there is no space to go to. There's lights in the sky, the sun, the moon, the stars. They are lights. They are to be used for times and seasons, not to be traveling around in your little space capsule. There is no space travel. The little bottle rockets you see flying from the coast are nothing more than bottle rockets. They're just the grown man's version of that same little water rocket that you used to buy at the Sev, man. Right? Just grown men playing with bigger paper airplanes. They're not going anywhere. You don't go anywhere. Man has his realm. The realm of man is on a plane, the plane of existence. Okay? Let me just quickly explain that to you so that you can hold it in your hand. You can hold that idea in your hand and see it. Idea. All right? So then the human eye is the shape of the universe. Let there be light. So now hold that eye in your hand, looking straight up. Do you see the colored part? Do you see the iris? That is the realm of man. That is the earth. That is the sea. That is colored man of all different hues. The hue mans, the colored mans. That's why all this nonsense about race baiting and color baiting, that's all bullshit. Because bullshit is what the Saturn, the Satan, the Lucifer, which is the light of that fallen system, puts out. It wants you to wallow in the bullshit. All right? Don't do it. Don't give that death life. Don't bring that corpse back to life. Right? So when you get up in the morning, check this out. So you get up in the morning, oh, it feels so good. Oh my goodness, let me see what happened in the news today. You're going to be brought into death instantly. They're going to tell you this, that, and the other thing happened. You know what I have to say? Who cares? It doesn't matter anyway. You weren't going to do anything about it, tough guy. Were you? So don't pretend you're a hero. And don't pretend that your weeping and wailing somehow changes the facts, which are, interestingly, that the facts are just digits. They're not even real. They're just words on paper, which are then mimicked and clowned by a puppet wearing a suit that's tailored and fitted to please you, especially those weather girls, right? Who's kidding who, huh? I mean, a weather girl could tell you anything, and dudes are like, yeah, mm-hmm, yeah, yeah. Stupid, man. Do you see how the manipulation is just so easy? It's about getting the enticement. On the male, it's all about phallus worship. You see that with the obelisks and all that stuff all over that cheap junk. By the way, all the history, as you know, and all the pyramids and all that junk scattered about, it was all built around 1800 or so, a little bit earlier. Just sorry to burst your bubble. It's all amusement park jump. A muse, a demon, a lie, a setup. But now you know that. Now that I said that to you, now you actually just said to yourself, you know what? I always thought it looked like junk. It always looked a little too gaudy, a little too fake. I grew up in L.A. and my parents took me to the King Tut exhibit when it was cruising through LA. This was around the same time as the Olympics, the '84 Olympics. So because I had that little Olympic bird that they were giving away everywhere. Say everywhere. So, anyways, so what was I even talking about? So, anyways, it was just the thing that they were doing. They had that's coming, then they had the King Tut thing. That's what I was talking about. The King Tut. So I'm going through. I'm just a kid. I'm a squirt. Really, at the time I was a squirt. I was a very small kid. I was the kid on the basketball team where as soon as I got the ball, the coach is screaming, "Throw it to the other guy." I'm that guy. So, anyways, but now I'm up to a respectable 6 foot tall, 155, always, never changes. You know. So, anyways, King Tut. I'm looking at the stuff. I said that's junk. Period. My parents are like, click, 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 click with the camera. By the way, I need to see if my dad still has some of those pictures. But anyways, going forward, I'm looking at this stuff is junk. I'm looking at it, and I always wanted to like elbow somebody, and I'm like, you see this as junk, right? It's like there was a mass hypnosis over people. People were told they were told what to expect, right? So then they were brought into their mind. They're like, okay, I'm expecting all this treasure and all this junk. Or not, I'm sorry, not junk. All this golden treasure, blah blah blah. So they go in, and then that's what they see because that's what they expected to see, right? But if they expected to go in and see junk, because I had no preconceived notion. I really kind of thought it looked like junk in the table book mag or book. Those were popular back in the '70s where you had a big table book with pictures. And I looked through that, and even then I kind of thought it looked junk. So, anyways, I got their kind of preconceived notion, I guess, that it was junk. Take that into account. Full disclosure here. So, anyways, I looked at it, and that's why they came in with one uh, um, recollection of it. And I came in looking at it saying that's exactly what I thought it looked like junk. Especially the mask. That mask thing, if you really look at it, you'll see what I'm talking about. So, anyways, yeah, moving forward, this is really just the first podcast. And I wanted to get to know you a little bit more than just or you know me, I guess is the proper way, than just those tweets and twits. Because I try to put as much as I can, especially in the ones that I fill all the characters, so that each line is in itself uh, descriptive of a truth of the matter. So if you ever were wondering what that's all about, you can always ask a question. That seems to be something that a lot of people don't do. I notice there's a lot of declarative um, statements, but there's not a lot of questions. When I say, and I don't mean just saying something random and then expecting a bunch of people to say, "Yeah, that's really groovy," and then a bunch of people not knowing what they're talking about, because all that time collectively was wasted. You know, if you were running a company and you add up all that manpower, where would you do the first cut? Huh? Right. So then use your time wisely because it's the only currency you have. It truly is. The only currency you have, the only power you have is the time that you've spent. So what? It's been 15 minutes, a little over. Uh, Hopefully none of that has been wasted on you. And I'm actually going to go ahead and plan to cut this out so that no more time is wasted. I'll go ahead and prepare to do the next episode, which I'll cover the idea of the one, the idea of a thought. Where, when you wake up in the morning and you have that first thought, where did it come from? Now, if it's of the truth and light of Christ, it's going to be a truth, and you're going to be led down that narrow path. However, if it's going to be the light of Lucifer, that double where there's, you heard that splinter, it didn't quite sound right, but everybody seems to be running that way. But you see something's not right. It's that splinter. You know why? You saw it glisten. For just a split second, you saw it glisten out of the corner of that spiritual eye you got. Right? So just notice that. Anytime you see that glisten, follow that because you're going to follow. That's going to be the crease. You understand? If you take Occam's razor idea and where you slice, do you see that slice where that first slice has to peel from the blade? Well, that's the exit. Slip right out there. That's the narrow path. That's the exact place where the lie is trying to be injected into your spiritual body. And like Thomas, walk up to it and say, no, I don't believe what you said to me. I'm going to feel it. And then you stick your hands in there and you feel if it's true because you do the work of the hand. Do you see what I'm saying? Sometimes I get, don't think I'm mad at you. I'm not. I'm just saying there's a lot of wasted time. So please, if there's any questions for the next episode, because I really have nothing planned. I had nothing planned for this. We're just talking. All right. Please leave a question. All right. Other than that, cheers. Have a blessed day. Be free in Christ indeed.